We're a little early, but there's no harm in starting early if everybody's here. Here are Mr. and Mrs. Learn. Matt, you're having problems with your signal. You need to update your Zoom,
Yes, sir.
but we're okay.
I had my IT
Good
guys in the other
afternoon,
day.
Mr. Learn. Can you hear me? All right. Well, this is file 23150LT, Monty and Vicky Learn versus Joshua Vandervries, Learn Investments LLC. Mr. Matthew Davidson is here on behalf of the Learns, and Mr. Josh Vandervries is here as the tenant. This is a demand for non-payment of rent. Mr. Vandervries, as a tenant in a landlord-tenant, as a defendant in a landlord-tenant proceeding, including non-payment of rent, you have the following legal rights. You have the right to obtain counsel for representation in this matter. If you cannot afford an attorney, a legal aid attorney may be available to help you. You have a right to a trial by a jury or by the court. If the action is for non-payment of rent, which is what this is, and if you are eligible for any assistance, you may not need the actual judgment of the court. The summons and complaint should be sufficient, and you already have that. If the plaintiff is agreeable, the Citizens Mediation Services, Inc. may be available as a possible source of case resolution. If both parties are agreeable to mediation, the court can help set that up. If you reach an agreement with the plaintiff and a consent judgment is entered by the court, you would waive the rights listed above but have the following additional rights. The judgment could not be enforced until 3 business days had passed. You could move to set aside the judgment within those 3 days if you misunderstood what you consented to or what you were waiving. Your motion to set aside the judgment would be set for a landlord-tenant hearing. However, if the judge did not find in your favor, the original judgment would stand. Mr. Davidson or Mr. Learn, can you tell me what Mr. Vandervries' current arrearage is?
Want me to tell you?
Yeah, go ahead.
$10,712.50.
$10,712.50.
Correct.
Mr. Davidson, can you still hear me?
Yes, Your Honor, and I'm not quite sure how it jumped to that. I was going to add 750 to the 4350 in the complaint.
Yeah, how did we get up to 10,000?
Hold on. I'm sorry. That was already paid.
$6,362.
That was for August through August 2022 through March of
At
2023.
the time of filing, it was 4,350. If we add 750 to that, it gets $5,100.
That's what I was expecting, Your Honor. There may be other damages that would be owed, but just on the basis of the rent, Your Honor, that's it.
All right, we'll just go with rent right now through March.
Yeah.
That's $5,100. Mr. Vandervries, your landlord says your rent hasn't been paid in many months. He wants you to either pay the rent or move out. There's $5,100 worth of rent, and there may be additional damage. But right now, we're just talking about rent. What's your position here?
Well, it started when my door got kicked in June. I had to call the police, put a complaint in. I went 3 months without a front door. And then they didn't inform me that the person who lived here before me, this place was infested with cockroaches. Well, they're now back. I don't know if the treatments didn't get continued like they were supposed to or what. But like I have to leave my slider open all winter to keep it like 45, 50 degrees in here.
All right,
keep
well,
the
let
buck.
me ask you, do you wish to stay there or do you wish to move?
Well, I'm trying to move. I've been looking for a place for the last month. I'm actually talking with Larry and Terry Richmond right now, and
Well,
they're trying to find me something. I'm hoping within the next 2 to 4 weeks that I'll just be able to be out of here.
all right. There's a way to not pay your rent. It's called putting the rent in escrow, but you haven't done that properly. There may be issues with it. I drove by there Sunday. I was looking to see Pine Street dead ends and Elm Street also dead ends, but I was looking at where they were talking about putting that back entrance out of that new subdivision, which probably doesn't make the people on Pine Street very happy. So I was just over there, drove past that apartment for the first time in some time. It looks like it needs a little repair, but it's been a nice place for a long time. Anyway, the law requires I adjourn this 1 week, whether I like it or anybody else does. And if we go to next week, you would get 7 more days from that day, or 10 more days, which is 17 days. So I'm gonna continue this.
All right. And I just had one question too. It says in my lease that the rent's $725.
Yes, it does.
And I know
Yeah.
when I was behind in rent only a couple months, I messaged Vicky and I asked her, how much exactly do I owe? I was like, I'm trying to give you like 500 a week until it's caught up. And then she never responded to me. And then she told my mom during youth bowling, because their son bowls with my niece, that they don't want my money. They just want me out of here.
How many dogs you have in the apartment?
I have one, just my dog.
How many did you have?
My
When I
dog
was there,
had
you had 10 of them.
Mr.
My dog.
Learn, last I knew I was in charge around here. You just sit there and be quiet. Rent is $725 per the lease. We're all over the map. It's 10,000, it's 6,000, it's 5,000. If they wanted to terminate your tenancy for having dogs in the apartment, they could have done that. If you wanted to not pay your rent because you had no front door, there's a way to do that. I'm surprised this passes city inspection if it was that long without a door, but at any rate, probably the best bet is for you to move. So I'm going to continue this to next Thursday, March 24th, 2023. Matthew, does 1:15 work for you?
The date again, please, Your Honor.
Next Friday.
Okay, 1 second.
Actually, we could do it in the morning. 11:15, does that work?
Just 1 second, please. And that's the 24th.
Yes.
I have a hearing for Maple Crest at 10:30, so the morning would be fine. Or at 9:30, excuse me.
Yeah, let's leave it for 11:15. All right, Mr. Vanderrees, you need to zoom in again next Friday morning at 11:15. We'll work on that total number. If everything is based on 750, the lease says 725 until March of 2023. So the whole calculation may be wrong. But if you move, the dollar amount isn't so important. That'll be taken up at a subsequent damage hearing. So next Friday is the 24th of March. You would get 10 days from there to move out, which would also take us into April's rent, but it would give you until April 4th to move or be subject to being evicted. If you do move, you need to turn in the keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of your moving. If you have moved, you don't need to be here next Friday. If you haven't, you need to be here at 11:15 and we'll address the matter further at that time. Matt, if you go into the Zoom controls, there's a some little things you can do to update it, and I think your program's out of date, which is why it's all flashing around like that. But maybe you can get some help. All right, we'll readdress this matter next Friday morning at 11:15. You're all free to go.
All right. Now, would it be the same Zoom number
Same
to
Zoom
get in?
number. Yep. You'll get
All
a
right.
new notice, hopefully. All right.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next Friday morning.
All right. Have a good day, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, we've been waiting for some other matters. We're backed up on a case, but our 11:15 matter, everybody's here a little early, so we'll start early. This is file 23-150 LT. It's entitled Learn Investments LLC versus Josh Vandervries. Mr. Monroe Learn, also known as Monty, is here on his behalf. His attorney, Matthew Davidson, is here, and the defendant, Josh Vandervries, is here. We were here last week. Mr. Vandervries had some issues about the premises, but I didn't order an escrow order. Rent is alleged to be $5,100 through March. Mr. Davis, have any of the circumstances changed?
Yeah, well, I don't know about the circumstances, but there was an issue about the rent being wrong in the complaint. And I moved to amend the complaint to $725 a month. And that would be 8 months that are owed for a total of $5,800. Mr. Vandervries was correct when he brought that up last week, and we've since gone over it and determined that he was correct. So it was $725 times 8. And then there are late fees of $200. That's $25 times 8. And he still owes a balance on his deposit. And I would understand that that couldn't be part of a money judgment, but we're not asking for that. But we would ask that that be added back into the amount that he would have to pay to redeem it. And that amount is $362.50. And I have costs of $55. I have $40.43 of service fees for the notice to quit from Bruce. And I don't have the, I'm still in the situation that my staff's not back from her appointment yet. So I don't have the payment that was made for service of the complaint. But if you have it in the file, we need to have it.
55, 40, 43, and 75.
Yeah, there should be another service fee though, for the
No, there's
complaint.
not.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, that'll be good enough.
All right. Mr. Vandervries, what's your position?
I tried when I was only 2 months behind. I messaged Vicky. I asked how much I owed. I was trying to pay $400 or $500 a week to get caught up. She never returned a text. Then at the bowling alley, told my mom she didn't want my money. She just wanted me out of here.
Yeah, I think that's the posture we're in now. All right. Now, Mr. Davidson, your calculation is through March. Is that correct?
Right, Your Honor.
Looks like we did.
Well, you're not going to redeem it anyway, so the figure is probably just as well. 5,800 plus 200 late is 6,000. Deposit is 362.50. And the costs are 170.43. Is $6,532.93. Mr. Vandervries, you have 10 days to move, which would be April 3rd. I didn't put April's rent included in this equation, but if there's an issue about money damages, whether it should be abated because the door didn't work or other things, we can address that at a later date. This simply has to do with possession. You have until April 3rd to move, and this has been coming for some time. Have you made any provision to move anywhere?
I'm still waiting on Larry and Terry Richmond.
All right, well, I don't know whether they're gonna want you as a tenant when they find out you're $6,500 behind in your last lease. But nonetheless, you're not gonna pay it, so don't worry about that. Before I issue any money judgment, we will have further discussion about how it was calculated. But in order to redeem it, I'm putting all the rent and all of the deposit. There was no escrow order, and there was no formal motion to abate. You just gonna need to get out of there, Josh. They can maybe start over again with this apartment. If it had all the defects you said, it's probably amazing it passed inspection, so maybe it wasn't as bad as you said. At any rate, you have till April 3rd to move, or you're subject to being evicted. When you do move, you need to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of your moving. Do you have any further questions?
No, sir.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.